Happening. Hey, everybody, we're live and we have a very super special guest today. And it's Chris's phone that he forgot to turn the volume down on.
It's time for Tylenol.
Actually, no, we have Brian Nutter from Nutter Guitars in right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And there's, turn that thing down. There we go. So Brian, thanks for joining us today. And we're just gonna kind of see what happens. And I have a lot of questions. In fact, I have 6 questions that I ask every single person that we do a live show with, and they have almost nothing to do with the guitars. But I have a ton of questions for guitars. So just to give everyone a little bit of a background, Brian and I have kind of known each other on Facebook for a long time, but we met in real life at the NAMM show last January, or this January. Well, a few months ago, and we were hanging out and talking. And he had a booth, and he had 4 of his Astro Captains.
Mm-hmm.
Was that okay? And I bet you, if we're really nice, we can get him to show us some of those a little bit later on, and maybe even do some. But so I mean, I knew of Brian Nutter, but I didn't know Brian Nutter. So we're hanging out and talking with him, and this is for everybody who's just tuning in. And Brian's talking about he says all the same stuff that other guitar builders say, and it's things like, "Hey, if this is great if you're in the studio that day, or this is great if you're on stage in front of 40,000 people." The only difference is that when Brian says it, he's actually been to those places and done those things. I didn't know that until much later, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that guy actually knows all that shit. He's been there, done that. Got the
and throughout the day, it's not like he tells you all at once. It's like he hints at it.
Yeah,
and you put 2 and 2 together, and you get 18 million or whatever. Yeah, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, man, this is the real deal.
So Brian, why don't you introduce yourself to all the good people who are here to see you, because they already know what Chris and I dumb shit.
I've been doing this since I was 17, because I was too poor to afford to have somebody else do it for me. The first time I paid for a fret job, I was like, oh my god, I am absolutely equally as smart as this guy. So there's a book on this stuff somewhere. So so I started doing that. But always played in bands from the time I was a kid. My dad was actually a musician, played pedal steel in a country band from the time I was born until I was about 12.
Have you always lived in Nashville or near Nashville?
Oh, no, I moved. I grew up in West Virginia.
Okay.
So for anyone west of the Mississippi, it actually isn't Western Virginia. They have been 2 different states since June 20th, 1863. To be clear.
You paid attention during the class. I had to pay attention in Texas history. So.
It's on the flag. The funny bit is, I'll go out west somewhere, and where are you from? I go, West Virginia. Sweet, I have a cousin in Richmond. Well, that's awesome, but that's a different state.
So on the flag, it actually says we've really been a state since 1863.
June 20th, 1863. Yeah. Fidelis, not free.
So okay, so music is rich in the Nutter history, and so tell us a little bit about what's up, because you have a fascinating backstory that
I don't know how fascinating.
It's fascinating to me.
Dad was in a country band in a late outlaw style kind of country band, sort of like Waylon and Willie and that thing. Late 70s and early 80s, and they actually had a small record deal and charted a few times. The guy that was the music director on Hee Haw, an old TV show that was on CBS that showcased country music, Buck Owens and Roy Clark hosted it. So the guy that was the music director was also from West Virginia. His name's Charlie McCoy. He backed my dad's band. And at one point, they wanted Dad to come down and move to Nashville, move the whole family down there to play steel, to be in the house band. That would have changed my life dramatically. But I guess fortunately and unfortunately for me, Dad decided not to do that. But so we about 12, I start playing guitar, and that's the first time I hear Ozzy.
Yeah.
I heard the Blizzard of Oz record the first time, and it was like, oh my God, what is that? I've been around electric guitars my entire life, and I have never heard anything that makes that noise. And was instantly hooked. So played rock and metal all the way through, the 80s and 90s and that kind of stuff, and started like tinkering with putting together stuff, my early teens. Moved to LA in the mid 90s, worked as a session guy and doing recording engineering on a bunch of stuff, worked on a bunch of gangster rap records like Bone Thugs and Harmony and
really
that kind of. Yeah. Also did a lot of audio for animation, worked on a cartoon called Life with Louie, which was Louis Anderson's cartoon at the time. And then the rock band I was in, we were being courted by Atlantic Records, and we decided to move back to West Virginia, get rid of all of our debt, like really get our ducks in a row so that if and when it was time to go, we could just roll.
Yeah.
So it's one of the many like almost sort of record deals that happened. I feel like I'm the king of the almost. So close.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be king of the never was. So yeah, we'll see if we can.
You're off to a good start.
Well, I'm off to a good start. It's my wife talking. Yeah.
We then by the late 90s that had fallen through, so I decided to move to Nashville. And by then I was already making guitars. I had just started making guitars. Prior to that, I'd been repairing, and I was also, giving guitar lessons, but I was a Fender warranty repair guy. I was a Gibson warranty repair guy. In addition to doing, I was playing like 5-6 nights a week, 10 to 2, just working constantly. But then started making guitars and was like, hey, I'll move to Nashville. There are a bunch of guitar players in Nashville. I'll make guitars and I'll be this huge thing. It'll be great. And I got to Nashville and everyone was like, we've never heard of you. So within like, if a couple of weeks, it was like, okay, painfully evident that I needed income. And several friends worked in the touring industry down there. So I got a call one day. It was like, hey, do you want to go out and be the guitar tech? There's a new up and coming artist needs a guitar tech on the weekend in Vegas. His name's Keith Urban. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. Well, the funny thing is that the guy Keith was in a band called The Ranch prior to having the solo record deal. And the bass player in The Ranch is from Pinch, West Virginia. His name's Jerry Flowers. He's actually still the guy that's the music director in his solo band. And Jerry and I have been in the same circles since 1987.
Oh, cool.
What else has Jerry done? I feel like I recognize that name.
Yeah, Keith has always been in. He played for the Dixie Chicks. He played for the Counting Crows. A bunch of stuff. He's a big songwriter. He's had several like #1 hits.
Does he play for Jerry Lee Lewis?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Never mind.
No.
Ignore me.
Nor
Jerry Lee Lewis one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ate the leftovers of Jerry Lee Lewis's plate in the hallway of the hotel one time. Not like over and over again.
Let Brian tell his story.
So, I get I go out, I tech for Keith for like a weekend, and then end up getting the gig teching for him. But the tour doesn't start for like months. So then I ended up going out and being a tech for the keyboard player in Lone Star, and met Michael Britt, the guitar player in Lone Star. Most people know Michael Britt now, other than being the guitar player in Lone Star, but is the guy that does the killer Kemper profiles.
You know what that is?
And then Kemper, the little digital modeling amplifier.
Oh, okay, cool.
The German one that looks like a Buck Rogers. It should actually really go well with this guitar.
Absolutely. Is that the one? Like, we have a buddy who I think had one of those with the little teeny tiny tubes, the macro tubes.
No, it has no tubes in it. It's all digital. It's strictly zeros and ones. But so I made a guitar for Michael, and then during the whole like teching thing, it was like I got to looking around at all the guys that were playing, and I thought, man, I'm killing myself like with this teching stuff. So it would be way easier to just play and sing. So that's what I did. I started getting playing gigs, and the playing career took off. So I played with, basically, if you had a record deal in Nashville in the early 2000s, at some point I probably stood beside you and sang and played guitar.
That's cool, man. I mean, you look great in a suit. We all know that. So yeah, so see, everybody who doesn't maybe not know who Brian Nutter is. Brian Nutter knows what is up, and there's all sorts of great questions that I'm sure we're going to get for you while you're here, and they're not all going to be from me. I think Chris has one or two as well. Carrie Ann has one.
You have 5.
Oh yeah, there's 5. There's already 5 waiting.
You have 5.
Oh, I have more than 5. I have a little post-it.
You have your standard 5.
I have my standard ones. Yeah.
And then whatever video that you're working on beside you guys.
What's that?
This one? Yeah.
That's it.
Is that sweet? Yeah, I want to know more about that. That thing.
I really shouldn't be doing this because I'm not getting paid for doing this. This is for a buddy of mine, and it was like so many guitars, so many cool vintage guitars. It had had a bunch of kitchen table modifications done on it back when it was just old and it wasn't considered a vintage something. It was just an old guitar. So Mac had it. He's had it since the 60s or early 70s, and he brings it in. It's got a bunch of crap that it wasn't supposed to have, and he's like, I've always wanted to have it fixed up, and I'm like, well, one of the things that we're gonna start doing is a little bit of repair work, and so let's do a video series of resto mod this bass. So what I did this weekend, I actually have a video for it, is we filled where the P bass cavity was, and we filled where the old bridge studs were, and the Leo Kwan Badass screws were 3 times because somebody mounted the bridge at least 3 times, probably to get the intonation right. I'm sure you've seen those. And then so I ran it through my thickness sander a couple times. About 1/8 of an inch off of it. So we're gonna basically be adding new meat to the top and to the back because we had to actually get this thing flat. So
it was very flat.
Yeah, so it's a 50-year-old
instrument,
and it was
fall off on one side or the other.
So yeah, so we've got a video coming out about what I did to get to this point, and next time I'll either be putting a new top and back on it or pulling frets. I can't decide what I want to do next. So that's yeah. And this is one of those deals where it's a labor of love because it sure as hell isn't a labor of
funds.
Lucrative.
Yeah.
Of
dollars. Yeah. And it's also one of those, I think, can I do it kind of projects, It should be fun. You minimize every single step along the way. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're. What's that?
Ooh, what's that? Yeah. The Firebird. What's that about?
Oh, this is a guy wanted a Clarence Gatemouth Brown, like replica. So this is a non-reverse Firebird. And it actually has a leather pickguard like Clarence Gatemouth Brown's had, and it even says Gatemouth on it. So Sergeant actually did all the leather tooling work for us, and he's sitting right behind the monitor. He and his wife know how to make saddles and holsters and shit. So a leather pickguard with a word embossed on it was like a no-brainer for them.
And he's going to make you a belt that says Pendejo,
Matthew Pendejo,
Pendejo, and he's going to make me a belt that says "Move It, Lardass."
I thought I was going to say
Mr.
Back. Cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet. Sugar britches,
candy pants. Okay,
that's the one that you want to tell everybody about. That's my Friday night belt.
So if you need a belt, Brian, we've got the hookup.
Yeah.
So Carrie Ann.
Awesome. Yeah,
go ahead.
I probably do need a. I always have on my belt what I call the utility belt. So I've got like a flashlight, a buck knife, this guy, and a Leatherman. It's yeah. I mean everywhere. So except it was weird being at NAMM in the suit.
Oh
and,
yeah,
without being as clean as I've been in months without my thing. So this is my normal getup.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. If you want one with something cool stamped in the back,
man.
Like I say, we got the hookup. Yeah. So yours would say.
I understand the like labor. I understand the labor of love and like, can I really do it? Because right now I have two guitars that were still left over from a flood in 2010 here in town.
You had a few guitars.
One is
some that were completely unscathed. You said, right?
I have. Well, there was a lot of stuff that I had in the flood, and because I'm a dork and I can fix things, I also made friends with a lot of the insurance adjusters there. So I bought stuff. I bought a lot of gear really cheap and repaired it. But these two particular pieces, one is a custom color J45 that was built for me. It's actually all black. Cool. And I used that with Keith. God, I played every TV show under the sun with that. I played Saturday Night Live. I played the Today Show. They did piles of stuff with that guitar.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah. And it came, and then right before the flood, one of Keith's big influences was Glenn Campbell, and Glenn opened for a gig for us in Vegas, and he was going to have Glenn come out and play Wichita Lineman. He needed a guitar, so he used mine. So
how cool
I told Glenn he could use my guitar as long as he signed it. So this guitar, it's destroyed now, but it still has Glenn's signature on it. So I mean, truly, it's a maraca. All of the bracing is laying inside the guitar.
Sucks. Oh, that's
so, and I don't mean it's not separated. I mean, it's laying inside the guitar. You can physically reach your hand in there and pull out any of the back braces you want in order or out of order. And I also have a guitar that I have a 1957 Martin Double Aught 18 that is a kit now. The back is completely off of it. But I've since October, I've been teaching at the Musicians Institute Guitarcraft Academy.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
They do an electric program and they do an acoustic program. This quarter, I've been helping out in the acoustic program, and the guy that's the head of the acoustic program, his name's Marty Lanham. He owns Nashville Guitar Company here in town, and the guy's a wizard.
Yeah, you would think that there's got to be a wealth of knowledge in the Nashville area on acoustic guitar repair in general.
Yeah, so he's going to help me go through, and we're going to make both of these guitars again. Because one, the J45 is I could do that one. The J45 is pretty straightforward. It's all tight bond glue and whatever. But the 57 Martin, that's all like high glue repair, nitro binding. You know, like a lot of very specific vintage specific things that I want to know from a guy who has worked on thousands of pre-war Martins. All right, what's the right way to go at this, as opposed to that grew up playing, Bark at the Moon.
You know who I've been chatting a little bit with Eric from Stuart McDonald, and he's a rock guy, but he's got he knows more about repair. He's probably forgotten more about repair in the last 10 minutes than I'll ever know. So
now that dude, Stu Mack, is 45 minutes from my hometown in West Virginia. And 2 weeks before I got the gig playing with Taylor Swift, I actually interviewed with Eric at Stu Mack.
Oh, really?
To be a part of the R&D.
That's cool.
Yeah. Clearly never got not that gig. Didn't get a call back even, but I went on the road with Taylor.
Hey, so the guy who plays in the band that I'm in has a not so secret crush on Taylor Swift. And I know that he's got the Taylor Swift shirt with the Twisted Sister logo, but instead of saying Twisted Sister, it says Taylor Swift. Have you seen those?
I need that shirt. I don't have that shirt.
It's pretty.
I don't
funny.
think that's an officially licensed product by either band. I don't know that D. Snyder would. Well, maybe he would appreciate it, but
yeah, I think
he'd want his
really
cut.
Laugh.
Yeah.
He would love that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you know he would love that, Brian? This is where Brian.
I don't know if Dee would love that, but I know Taylor would love it. She would think that was awesome.
That's funny. Because I don't know anything about Taylor Swift, but I always kind of figured she was a 20-year-old kid who didn't think anything was funny. I don't know.
We have that whole she sued the radio guy for touching her butt thing here in Denver too.
Pissed me off.
Well, I don't know enough about the story.
I don't know. I don't have a dog in that.
So one. Yeah.
Taylor's in her late 20s. And man, she's a great kid.
Cool.
She's really, really funny, like dark funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like in a way that we would think was funny. You know, I like her a lot.
So this actually brings up another great thing, and I know there's a lot of questions waiting, but I want to tell one more story about the NAMM show. Brian Nutter knew who he had our number like that.
Yeah,
it was pretty obvious that we were both cut from the same cloth in terms of our humor.
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There was all sorts of talk of glitter cannons and getting kicked out of the NAMM show, and it's something that one day we'll actually do.
Yeah, unprompted either. Like he was ready to get kicked out.
He was ready to do it right then.
Yeah. And hey, you guys want to get?
Hey, you guys want to get kicked out of the NAMM show? Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to hire like a bunch of like male models in like loincloths. And
strip.
Have them carry me around like things like you would if you're in the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Like around rolls like in a fistful.
I can only think of one person that I want to see that, besides everybody on a YouTube video, and that's the guy at the boutique guitar builders showcase thing, whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of where it started.
That's how it all started.
But
Brian said that we don't want to talk about that guy.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't want to say his name because then he might show up. So yeah.
It's like Beetlejuice.
It's like Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
only really lame.
Yeah.
So I think we've got some questions brewing. Carrie Ann, do we have any?
Well, yes, actually, Joseph Caswell, who is in Thornton. Why he's not here in the live studio audience?
I don't know.
But he got a question for
awesome.
And Brian. So for the guest, Brian, what's the specs on his blue guitar? And for TT guys, how's that Flying V going?
The Flying V is going awesome. If it's the one I'm thinking of, but. You know, we did a video with Brian at the NAMM show, but our camera took a dump. So I'm assuming that you have a one of the Astro Captains there. It looks like there's a blue one off to. That's a red one.
It is, but the blue one's somewhere else. But it's the same guitar, just different color.
There's a blue one right on the other side.
I think that's the green one.
That one, that specific one. Okay, so this is the actual Astro Commander.
Okay,
is that blue? That looks blue.
It's green.
It's blue. I promise.
Okay. Brian's all like, I don't have a blue one.
It's a light blue.
Pay no attention to that blue guitar back there.
I'm on the Captain right now, but yeah, the blue one is it's the Captain, but it's just dumbed down. So same thing, alder body, maple neck, Bolivian rosewood, or Palfaro or Murado or whatever you want to say for the fretboard. Dual action truss rod, Clouson tuners. The wheel adjustment for the truss rods there. The pickups I do in house. I call them Rocket Booster 5s because they're using Alnico 5 magnet. They're about cool. 12K. Yeah, they're 12K here and about 11 here. And it's a 3-way toggle. It's really, really straightforward, but it has, of course, because I'm a dork and I can't leave anything alone, it's got electronic trickery. So there's a coil tap for the neck pickup, a coil tap for the bridge pickup, and then an out of phase switch here.
So for everyone who's just now joining us, or for people who don't know what Brian's story is, Brian does every single thing that you see on these guitars here, to include winding all the pickups and masterminding the electronic schemes. And the red one that he was trying to show us, the Astro Captain.
Oh yeah.
Yes. That's the one that's got all the, it's quite literally has bells and whistles on it.
Yeah. And I hear he fells his own trees.
Yes.
And also mixes his own nitrocellulose out of old film stock and ping pong balls.
And he makes his own fish glue.
And he also makes his own fish glue, but he doesn't use fish.
It's quite unbelievable.
No, I make my own trees as well.
Yeah.
So give us.
Well, he's working on growing his own trees, but that hasn't come to fruition yet.
So Brian, would you give us the 2-minute version of what is happening with? So that one has a Bigsby. It doesn't have the Duesenberg trim, or does it?
Yeah. So this has got like it's Duesenberg has a hardware division. All right. Here's a fun history lesson. Do you guys remember Kramer's Rockinger tremolo? Like pre Floyd Rose. Yeah, pre Floyd Rose. All right. So the company that made the Rockinger or Rockinger, whatever you want to call it, that's Duesenberg. They still make parts for that.
Oh wow.
Now. Yeah. And this particular vibrato comes from the hardware division of Duesenberg, and it's called Goldo. It's pretty much the same vibrato you find on the Duesenberg guitars, but it just doesn't have a D on it.
Okay.
Which I kind of find, I didn't want to have a D on mine. I see Dennis Fano ever at Novo. He uses the ones with a D, and I kind of chuckle.
It's the Dennis.
I guess. You know what? Maybe that's why. So this one, same guitar as the last one. Alder body, maple neck, Bolivian rosewood fretboard, 2-way truss rod, wheel adjustment, 3 of the Rocket Booster 5s. So this bottom 3-way toggle is a middle pickup selector. In the up position, the middle pickup's off. That makes the guitar, just like this one, basically an Explorer. So in the down position, bridge pickup, middle position, the outside 2, up position, the neck pickup. When we put that switch to the middle, then it gives us these 2, all 3, and then these 2. It's neck volume, bridge volume, master tone. When we flick that down, it's only the middle pickup by itself. Straight out. No volume control.
We lost you there for a second.
Nothing.
Brian,
I call that the slide setting. If you're playing slide.
Yeah, we lost you for a second there. Can you back up a few seconds? Sorry.
Yeah, so here. Sure. So when we flick that switch down, that's the middle pickup by itself. No volume control. No, nothing. I call it the slide setting. So if you're using a slide, you're using a volume pedal. So there's that. Each pickup has its own phase switch. So you can get all of the Brian May, Peter Green kind of sounds, as well as the Jimmy Page thing. Then if we pull this, that splits the bridge pickup, that splits the middle, and that splits the neck. So they're now all single coils. Now the phase switches, in addition to doing phase, they also select.
There's no way.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
If you don't want to mess with any of that, push everything down, turn the middle pickup off, and just play it like an Explorer. Whenever I do live gigs with it, I play it like that. I usually 90% of the time I'm using the bridge pickup, or I flick up to the neck pickup, and that's that.
I'm still having trouble wrapping my brain around like how to melt solder, and you've got like switches going to stuff, and at
NAMM he went basically through all that deal, and he's like, okay, so it's like an Explorer. Yeah, I got that. Okay, now if you do this, that adds in the middle. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm pretty solid on electronics. Now this does series parallel. Yeah, okay, I'm good there. And then you pull this, and it does, and I just start glazing over. I'm like, yeah,
cool,
man.
I
like guitars.
In his suit, playing that guitar. It's just the audio is. It's not so great. Maybe I'll tack it onto something. One day. I'll send it to you, Brian, and that way you can.
Yeah.
Well, and then he gives examples, and because he's a great player, which I didn't really realize at that point. Yeah, he's like, you can do the Strat thing, and he plays a Strat song, and then you can do the Telly thing, and he plays a Telly song, and if you really want to rock, you can do the rock thing, and he plays a rock song. I'm like, this is the greatest guitar I've ever heard. And it sounds like me playing guitar, flipping switches. Whoa. Oh, that's a nice trim.
Yeah.
I like guitar, Brian. Thanks. Yeah. Red's pretty. I like Metal Flake.
On that note, the Dirty Knobs is like cool Metal Flake, and I'd like to hear that awesome. Because I like shiny things.
Metal Flake is totally cool, and Brian also has some stories of one little speck of red Metal Flake going into things that it wasn't designed to go in, and damn it, it's stupid
like,
metal.
It's like finding the Playboy bunny on the cover of the Playboy magazine.
We've decided that it's
always a piece of red flake. You gotta find it.
It's the herpes of the craft world.
And it goes away. You think it's gone, but here it is again.
Yeah. And I found a piece of red Metal Flake 2 years or 3 years, well, probably 4 years since we sprayed any, and at least 2 years since I found any.
And I
found it in a brand new finish that I just sprayed this week.
For sure.
Herpes.
So
it's coming back.
It's so cool to hang out with Brian. We've been hanging out with Brian for 30 minutes. We haven't answered a single question or said hello to anybody on the thing. So
you did answer like a 2-part question.
Oh, okay. Well, so stand by one. Thanks for everyone for joining us. I don't know how many people are here, but and it sounds like we have some questions. Yes, Mrs. Texas Toast.
Chris Hatton wants to know if Brian is still making the WMT.
Okay.
The weapons of mass destruction.
Testosterone.
I have a handful of models. The one I'm focusing on the most right now is this sort of retro futuristic thing. But I have a Strat and a Telly. The Strat is the WM, which stands for Working Man, and then the WMT, which is obviously Working Man Telly. And yes, I will do a WMT, and they are special order only. It's nothing I'm really promoting, but I just posted a photo of a gold one with 2 humbuckers on a Floyd with binding.
I saw that. That's cool. Yeah,
I saw it too. Does that make us cool?
Yes.
I am still doing the WMT.
So if you're really cool, you can actually get a WMT with a Texas Toast bridge.
Totally.
Because Brian has one.
I do have one. I do have one.
You know, so here again, this is another example of Nutter guitars and Texas Toast guitars being cut from the same cloth. We have a guitar line that we call the Daily Driver, which is about as close to the Working Man, I think, as you could.
Yeah,
in terms of the name. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of guitars. Every time I hand one off to the guy, I go, okay, beat this thing to death.
Mm-hmm.
If it's pretty in 2 years, I'm going to smack you. I want just beat this thing into the ground.
Yeah, no one wants a knight in shining armor. You want a knight with all dinged up armor because they've been in some fights. Yeah.
Yeah, shiny armored knights are just fancy boys.
That's right, fancy boys in shining armor.
I want to know the knight that gave him those dents.
That's the guy you want. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. What else we got there, Carrie Ann?
Okay, so David Guitar Madman, who I believe I read earlier is new to the Texas Toast live stream, I believe. Sorry if I was wrong. Doesn't necessarily have a question, but he's interested in stainless steel frets, as he has worn out some guitars in efforts to learn and am interested in something more hardy.
Well, stainless steel frets would certainly be a more hardy way to go. They're kind of a pain in the ass to work with.
They're a super pain in the ass to work with.
So I got some of the cryo wire from Stu Mack the other day, and I actually fretted a guitar with the cryo wire just this afternoon because it needed to be fretted, and I had it, and I'm like, well, let's give it a shot. So I'm anxious to see what that does and see if we can maybe split the difference between regular soft nickel fret wire and super hard stainless. But the cool thing about stainless, it's a pain in the ass to work, but it does some things that regular or the softer fret wire doesn't do, and it's almost like it breaks instead of cuts. So in some ways it's a pain in the ass to work with, and you have to have a little, you have more rugged, resilient tools to work it. But if you do have those, stainless, it's a pain, but it's not as much of a pain as I like to say it is. I just don't like to do it. But
if you're gonna do stainless steel, our buddy at Sully Guitars, John Sullivan, he's a huge proponent for the stainless steel guitar fret wire. But if you're gonna do it, I would. If you're gonna need to get like decent cutters. If you're gonna do anything with binding, you're gonna need nippers. Don't get the current ones from Stu Mac.
Yep.
Go to All Parts and get that one. Now, if you happen to have the old red-handled Klein-built ones from Stu Mac, that's fine. Those will do that stainless steel fret wire all day long. The current ones,
we have some of those, and I didn't know they would actually
the ones
work.
that I like.
Yeah.
I know tools.
Yeah, the old ones with the red handles, those are killer. Those will do stainless all day long.
Oh, okay.
But I am told by a lot of both students and other fellows that are just getting into stainless that the current ones from Stu Mac will not.
I can guarantee you that they won't. What's John? What are the ones that we have that we've used? The Jesscar. We use those, and those were really nice. They seem to be pretty rugged, and they worked really well. The one guitar that I did with them.
Now you did a video about the current like fret tang nippers from Stu Mac about. Like, I bought these from Stu Mac and they suck. I think it's something, if I'm paraphrasing.
I made two videos, and one was that they suck, and one was a tool redemption, where I think there was an operator error on my part with that tool. So, yeah.
The problem was between the stool and the tool.
That's right. Between the stool and the tool was definitely the error, but with that. But yeah, so you know, you're right. The new Stu Mac cutter isn't as great as the old one, and it won't work with stainless steel. But having said that, stainless is a great way to go, but I do have high hopes for the new cryo wire from Stu Mac, and that is a cryogenically treated material that's supposed to be harder. We actually have a bunch of knucklehead science planned for those, but we have a PhD at Regis University that's going to help us out with some actual metallurgy, right? Oh, School of Mines. Sorry,
those guys know metal way better than the Regis boys.
Those Regis guys suck.
Regis boys don't know squat about metal.
No, they're
School of Mines.
They're Jesuits.
It's got mine in the name.
It's got mine in the name, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, they're totally.
We're not talking about like metal, but we're talking about like, you know.
Oh, we're not.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, actual metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a double entendre.
It's a. So Terry GG&G is posting Texas Toast website information, but also Nutter Guitars information. So if you guys are just joining us, you don't know who Brian Nutter is, and you want to know more, he's got a great website. And
I have an OK website. It's being updated currently.
Isn't everyone's website being updated currently, though? I mean, it's one of those things where it's like continued improvement is better than delayed perfection, I think. So.
Yeah, half full.
So I got a question for Brian. Okay. What's the most when you walk onto stage with Keith Urban? What's the most important thing? What's the most important part?
What's the most important piece of equipment?
Well, yeah, or just what are you the most focused on when you walk on stage?
Don't puke when you get on stage.
with Keith Urban or anybody big.
But making sure you're well rehearsed.
Okay, and after that,
he's setting you up for something. I'm setting you up for
something you said once before.
But truly, in my own brain, it's making sure I'm well rehearsed with the band. That my in-ears work. That's a huge one, and past that is that I can see the set list.
We kept wanting for you to say that how your ass looks in your jeans.
Yeah. Are you wearing the correct jeans?
Which is what you said to us that, you're like, most important part is that you look hot in jeans.
Yeah. Nobody cares what guitar you're playing. They care how you look in those jeans.
Brian's like giving us a serious answer. And we're Tell us about your butt.
Drink some more beer, Brian.
No. What I said was that, and God help me for this, but you know, we all obsess over like sounds and tone and whatever, and, you know, pickups and what's it made of and what's it running through and blah, blah, blah. And one day in sound check, we all kind of looked at each other and was like, the fans don't care about this. The only thing they care about is why you're not wearing True Religion jeans anymore.
What's a True Religion jean?
It was a brand. There was like this was like 10, 15 years ago. That was like a very popular thing. So, and then the fans noticed because he moved from that to Levi's. So then,
funny. Were True Religion the ones with all the bling on the?
All
the bedazzles.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
All I can think about is like those Bobby Brooks that Jack pulled off of Diane.
Those are good jeans too.
We talked about those. Yeah.
Can everyone hear Mrs. Texas Toast? I don't, and there's a handful of videos that we can't hear her, so I want to make sure that everyone can.
And speaking of that song, if you search on the YouTube, there's a version of that song with Keith and Jake Owen where I'm playing drums.
What?
Yep.
See,
your talent.
Nobody likes to show off, Brian.
Yeah, Brian's talent knows absolutely no bounds.
Yeah. I like the part where we're talking to him and he's like, yeah, so Keith was with us at Christmas time.
You're like,
Keith came over to the house. Keith Urban spent Christmas with you? We had a whole family there.
We really have no business hanging out with Brian. I mean, we're like total plebes.
Yeah.
So
can I come over to Christmas with Keith Urban?
Keith has never been out here.
Where does he live, in California or something?
Well, he has a house in California, but he also has a couple here in Nashville.
So several months ago, Keith Urban found himself at the Wawa in New Jersey, short on cash for his purchase. And some woman who had no idea who he was thought he was just some homeless guy and gave him some money. And then he's like, "Hey, you want to take a picture?" She's like, "Yeah,
sure. Homeless guy."
And then later realized what happened.
So speaking of going to Brian's house with Keith Urban for Christmas, we were thinking that we really need to crash your farm for the Summer NAMM show this year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it happen, but it's definitely on our radar. So.
There was talk of renting an RV.
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy talk,
and parking it at your place, and then emptying the
Cousin Eddie
the Blackwater tank right in your front yard.
I don't think
that's the way I heard the story.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I had some friends in Dixon, Tennessee. I think you said that was like 30 miles outside of Nashville, going the other way, right?
We're northwest of Nashville, about 30 miles. Did you say Dixon?
Yes, sir.
We're close to Dixon. We're about 15, 20 miles from there. Dixon,
okay.
It's a little further, but it's a little more south and a little more west than we are.
Saying you should stay at your friend's.
I think that's what it's. Yeah, park the RV and dump the septic tank in there.
Don't you go falling in love with her there, Brian. We're taking it with us when we leave next month.
Next month. So do we have any more? Let's answer some more questions. Let's bring it. Let's rein it in a little bit here.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. If now I've got questions for Brian. If you don't have any ready to go, Carrie Ann.
Well, I kind of had to pee for the last couple minutes, so that's all I can.
Okay, so Brian, I've got questions for you, and then we're gonna take some viewer questions. So these are. Let me get my danger glasses. Hold on a second here. So these are standard questions that I ask everybody on the live chats. So and they may or may not have anything to do with guitars. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Question number 1: sweet or savory?
Savory.
Okay. Question number 2: pie or cake?
Pie.
Question number 3: Mexican or Italian?
Mexican, for sure.
Okay. All right. Now here's where the prizes can get really valuable. Deep dish or thin crust?
Thin.
Oh, Mrs. Texas Toast is very happy about that because she's from New Jersey. Okay. Question number whatever it is: under pressure or ice baby?
Under pressure, actually.
Oh, Brian. Okay. All right, we're not gonna hold that one against you. So now we're gonna get into the not so binary stuff.
There are no wrong answers except for that last one.
That's right. Okay. What's the guitar that got away?
Oh God, there are two. There's like a late '80s, early '90s Epiphone Chet Atkins
Really? Okay.
It looks like a Tennessean, like a Gretsch Tennessean. It's not that acoustic electric thing. That
the silent acoustic that he had for a while.
Yeah, it's not that at all. But it truly looks like a Gretsch, and it was black. It was like tuxedo, black and white binding. God, it was cool. I even know where it lives. And then there's
a bummer.
I know where both of them live. The other one is a sort of an oddball and not really a desirable guitar. I just liked it. It was a Les Paul Studio Light, and it was translucent blue with black hardware, and it belongs to the lead singer in an emo band called Hawthorne Heights.
Okay,
J.P. Woodruff, and he still has it. He and I talk from time to time.
Does it have a Floyd? No
Floyd.
Remember they had the one that was sort of like purple that had a Floyd, the Les Paul Light.
Yes. No, this one's like it looks like a Les Paul studio that's trans blue with black hardware.
We've made a handful of those thinner Les Pauls. They're a good 3/4 of an inch thinner than a regular Les Paul.
Sure. Yeah,
and they're really cool. We've got a double cutaway one going right now. That will you grab that, Chris?
I will.
Maybe we'll see if we can tempt Brian with sell a guitar to Brian.
This one is the same thickness, but
it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's a regular so from Gibson, off the line, they would take the studio bodies and then they would bore these huge holes in them and then put what is called chromite.
Chromite.
God only knows what that is. I'm pretty sure it's like that, like spray foam.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was going to be. Tone foam.
Yeah, and then they put the maple top on top of it, so it truly is like the same exact size as a Les Paul or a Les Paul Studio.
Well, what's the one I'm thinking of then? That was the thin one. Like, so this one. Look how slender this guy is, but it's carved on the top.
Now,
there, so.
That was called the Les Paul Custom Light.
Okay.
And that was it like cosmetically had the multiply binding. Hit up Joan Jett for that because that's got like a lot of melody maker.
It's just a Les Paul lower twice.
Yeah. Again, for my Halloween costume.
That's right. But I don't think Joan Jett would play one of our guitars. I think she's all set, isn't she? She has like a signature thing.
Got her signature model, but
you did a few years
ago.
Yeah. All right. So one more question, Brian, and this is one of Chris's favorites. Top 5 desert island albums.
Oh wow!
Now I have to tell you. So Chris's answer to this is always different because he's like, "Well, I'm not going to have a player to play him, so I just want the one with the girls with the biggest tits on the thing, so I can jerk off to
it." That's not really how I said it, but yeah, I mean, it's a desert island.
But let's for the sake of conversation, let's assume that you can actually play the records
because no albums have fishing tips or how to get off a desert island on them. So, at least I got something to do, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. First would be first Black Sabbath record. The second would be Eagles Live, which is where I, as a kid, really remember discovering Joe Walsh. He was my first like electric guitar guy. I didn't discover Sabbath for a while, but kind of in like chronologically in time. Next would be a weird one and a bad one in the Ozzy timeline for most people, but it would be The Ultimate Sin.
Is that who played guitar? Was that Jakey Lee?
It was the second Jakey Lee record.
Okay, is that because you're a Jakey Lee fan? I'm guessing.
I am a Jakey Lee fan, but I always loved that record, and it never gets any kind of credit. I don't think Ozzy ever played anything from that live after that. Then it would be. I'm such a hair metal guy. It would be Under Lock and Key from Dokken.
I guess what was some guy from Dawkins wants to make another record. Is that true?
Who knows? Don has no vocal range anymore. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
You could, and those guys play together all the time. But then the fourth one would be
that was
Spilt
4.
Milk by Jellyfish.
Hold on. That was already 4. You had the first Black Sabbath record, the Eagles Live, the Ultimate Sin, and the Dokken one.
Mm-hmm.
Dokken record.
Yeah. So
number 5.
Oh, okay.
Number 5 would be Spilt Milk by Jellyfish.
Ooh,
Jeff LaQuatra is a huge Jellyfish fan. One of our buddies who teaches classical guitar program at
Colorado State University.
Yeah, Colorado State is a humongous Jellyfish fan, and he's nice enough to let me go and teach one of his classes every year.
You're a guest lecturer.
I'm the guest lecturer. Yeah. So
man, that record. Every time I listen to it, I hear something different. It's like if Pet Sounds, the White Album, Pet Sounds, Revolver, and A Night at the Opera were all smashed into one record. That's what you'd get.
That's cool. I gotta say I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm kind of ignorant to that whole scene.
Get that one. That's a good shop record, just to let it roll in the background.
Okay. One of mine is ZZ Top Fandango, which could be playing all weekend long and never get turned off. And as long as I can mellow down easy, yeah, that's okay with me. It can
Fandango, go. The opening riff of Tush is pretty as good as your Les Paul and Marshall will ever sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever.
And none of those albums have anything hot on
no
the cover.
Hot chicks on the cover.
Or fishing tips. Or how to repair a boat.
Or how to make a radio.
Make a radio out of a coconut.
Yeah.
Why isn't Ginger or Marianne on this list, Chris?
I don't know. That's one of the questions that I figured you would ask.
You know why it's not on the list?
I don't think there's been a Gilligan soundtrack.
But why isn't Marianne or Ginger on this list? And you know what the answer is?
Because it's not.
Didn't think of it.
Because it's all about Lovey Howell. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
She knows things. She's old. You think she got a millionaire husband by not knowing tricks?
That's just it. Yeah.
We're seeing Lovey at the end of her days, not at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She still knows those
when
tricks.
she knew tricks. Yeah, but
all right, Ray, let's rein it in here, people. So, Carrie Ann, I'm sure there's a lot of people who have questions for Brian because we've been hogging him the whole time.
Well, that's actually a very cool comment, not so much a question, from Brad K, who says, Brian is my instructor at school. The dude knows his stuff.
Right on. You know Brad K?
I do know Brad, and he's a fantastic human being. He's very
cool.
He's lying, but he's he's a super sweet guy.
He's lying. What else we got?
Well, Terry's GG&G mentioned that Joan Jett at WrestleMania that just occurred, he thinks that was actually playing a 335 instead of her signature guitar for Ronda Rousey's theme music.
I would think a 335 would positively look gigantic on Joan Jett.
Well, yeah, it would, and that's okay.
Like if Angus Young was playing a 335.
Upright bass.
Yeah, an upright bass.
Angus is probably truly the most consistent guy for playing the exact same guitar from one to present.
I was thinking about that the other day with guitar players, and Gatemouth Brown is a guy that I mean, it's literally he wanted to play some other guitars and everyone said don't, and so him, Angus Young, and Dick Dale. Dick Dale played the same guitar since 1960, I think, or 61.
Yeah,
and the same amps. I mean, geez, man, talk about holding on to the cause.
Yeah, he's a true believer.
You don't need anything better than 1961.
What was the deal? Like, so they invented the dual Showman for Dick Dale.
They invented the Showman, and the reverb tank. Yeah.
Chris is in an awesome surf band here in Colorado where there's no surf.
Yeah.
And the Aguasonics.
And I spent way too much time nerding out over Dick Dale and Dick Dale things, and I finally realized. For a long time, I tried to play like Dick Dale, and I finally realized I can't play like Dick Dale. I need to find some lesser guys to look up to try and sound like them, because I can't do the Dick Dale thing. So,
you know, and we recently lost Dick Dale, and so one of the things that Chris and I talk a lot about on our morning chats is how many Facebook posts start out with "Rest in peace, Dick Dale. Here's a picture of me and Dick Dale." Like, I can't wait until, I have to show everybody that I met Dick Dale one time. So
it's my favorite thing to do is look at people's posts and see how long before the comments turn into something about the person writing the post, and then how long it takes for them to post a picture of them and whatever it's about. And it's usually 3.
Yeah.
So, and he was super creepy. I used to love Dirty Old Men until Viagra.
Until Niagara. Yeah.
And here's a picture of me and Dick Dale.
And by the way, here's a picture of me and Dick Dale.
Yeah, and I like the part where it's me first and then Dick Dale. Not Dick Dale and me. Me and Dick Dale. Yeah. And so that's our new standard answer to anybody's post is.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hey. I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother. Here's a picture of me and Dick Dale.
All right. So
what else we got in the comment section, Carrie Ann?
Okay, so Tony Drozjek, I'm pretty confident that I pronounced that correctly, by the way.
Okay.
Commented that Ewingwee is also very much one guitar guy, Strat and Marshall. That's 2 guitars.
Well, that's a guitar and amp combo. Yeah.
Oh,
the Marshall. Yeah.
And I saw a picture where he had, God, it seemed like 100, but it was probably 50.
Okay.
Yngwie guitars.
All right, here we go. We're going to get the straight dope now.
Yngwie. What he's remembering is Yngwie is a solo artist, because Yngwie was pretty much Strat and Marshall prior to, or from like after Alcatraz on. But in Alcatraz, he had an Area Pro 2 deal.
Oh, him and Rudy Sarzo.
Yeah. So before, because in Alcatraz and Steeler, Yngwie played areas. He also had I
forgot about Steeler.
He also had a Flying V that had Strat pickups in it. So Yngwie still doesn't fall into that category.
Yeah. I would have not known that. Did you see the here? I'm doing here's a picture of me and Dick Dale. Did you see the video series that we did with the Yngwie fabric guitar?
No.
I'm looking up the link to the video.
Somebody sent us a brand new Yngwie signature guitar and had us grind all the paint off of it and put fabric on it.
No,
it was one of my most my proudest moments. Yeah, it was so cool.
Wow. No, one of the funniest things I ever thought was that the Yngwie guitar, like the Yngwie Japan guitar with the big 3-bolt neck.
Yeah.
And then they did the Ritchie Blackmore, which was pretty much the same guitar with a different name on it.
Did it have the scallop fretboard and everything?
Exactly the same guitar. I mean, like the same guitar.
Well, you got to figure all that stuff's a computer program anyway, and
well, but not only that, but it was you know, Yngwie's biggest influence is Ritchie Blackmore.
Hey, hold on, I want to pause everybody because I see a question here from the Dirty Knobs. Is Brian a CNC guy? I happen to already know the answer, and that's another place where Brian and I have connected. Neither one of us are CNC guys. In fact, Brian has the same jet pin router that I have. I don't know if he calls it his beloved pin router or not, but if he doesn't, he should. You care to elaborate on that one there, Big Bri?
I do. I have the same great big blue beloved pin router. The jet, the big jet POR 22.
I love it, man. Those are so. Oh, there's more beer.
Always.
So somebody asked if Brian was.
Are you still with me?
Yeah, we're still here. Sorry, we might have a dicked up connection. Are you there, Brian? Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, there you are.
There you go.
We see you. We see you.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Come back.
We got our satellites are realigned,
right.
and Jupiter is with Mars, etc., etc.
It's the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
That's right. So tell us more about your build philosophy, Brian, and how it doesn't involve CNC.
First of all, CNC requires 3 processes. It requires CAD, which is computer drawing, computer-aided drawing, CAM, computer-aided machining, and then machine control.
Can you back up a little bit? We're kind of losing.
I would like to draw. What's that?
Can you back up a little bit? We lost you there at the tail end.
Okay. Yeah. So CAD, like drawing, like doing CNC. So there's CAD rather, computer aided drawing, which is then there's computer aided machining, and then machine control. Those are all really smart things that I'm not. So I like to draw stuff with a pencil.
Yeah.
And I like to cut things with saws and routers.
One time we had a discussion with Doug Cower about his CNC machine versus my pin router, and I don't know how long we could do a John Henry, my beloved pin router versus Doug's CNC machine, and actually keep up. But Doug said, you know, the real difference is just safety. And I'm like, yeah, that's sort of the whole point. It's got to kind of be dangerous for me to be into it, you know?
That's truly the smartest answer I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised it came from Doug.
Yeah, he's a totally a smart guy who knows way more about this shit than I do. So
now Doug and I both consumed several barley pops during the NAMM proceedings. Afterwards, and were we safe? Probably not. But yeah, he's right. You know, working with that jet machine, you know that it's terrifying. I mean, and that's I have that pin router, and I have the smaller. It's before ShopFox did it, but it's called a router mate. But it's that one.
I know about that. In fact, Mike Learn at Learn Guitars has my old ShopFox pin router.
Yeah,
he has two of them. Yeah, he's set up. Yeah,
yeah, I have that one as well, and it's terrifying. Or the router table, anything that's spinning at 20,000 RPM.
Have you ever used a shaper to do pattern work?
I have not used a shaper.
It's one of the ones that we got our shaper, and it is such a monster, and we've had so many close calls with it that I'm like, okay, nobody can use the shaper but me, because and it's not because really for insurance reasons, and
yeah, I want a copy of your health insurance card.
Yeah. So the shaper is of all the tools that we have, the only one that's really gotten me before is the drill press, but the shaper has come very, very close.
So I, as somebody that's used the shaper successfully one time out of 5, it's not so much at least for me a damager of human as a damager of wood. It just totally wrecks shit. Like right now, boom, done.
It's ruined.
Wrecked. Yeah. Throw it away. Okay. And yeah, good luck trying to learn how to use it. But
once you get it going, it is a vision to behold, because it will plow through 2-inch thick maple like it ain't nobody's business, and it won't slow down, and it's smooth as glass, and yeah.
It's smooth as glass, or it throws it back at you. It's either or.
I would like, Brian, if you are ever in the Colorado area, I insist that you stop over and we'll use the shaper, and you can see if you want one at your shop.
But I need a copy of your insurance card first.
Mrs. Texas Toast says she needs a copy of your health insurance card. I don't know what that means, but
yeah, I'll fax her the card.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm sure you have people that can get with her people, and yeah,
have your girl call my
it'll be a whole thing. So, are there any more questions from the gallery? There's a lot, probably, right?
Well, there's a follow-up comment about the CNC, and I'd like to add my little 2 cents.
Okay,
that as well. First of all, weenie roller.
That's the thing where we have to drink, Brian. Just saying.
Okay, so bam.
You have to drink. Somebody says weenie roller.
I'm sorry, I don't know what the 2 little dots over the O are supposed to sound like, because I'm ignorant to every other culture but my own. Sorry. Says the CNC offers consistency too, even if the guitars still need a lot of stand. Oh wait, no, I'm on the wrong comment. I'm an idiot. Well, he basically said that it's just a different set of skill sets, and it doesn't just spit out a guitar.
No one's suggesting that. Yeah.
But my follow-up to this comment is, but where's the danger?
Well, it's certainly there, but it's not as prevalent as it is when you're hand guiding this stuff. What I like about using the old school tools is, you know, well, hey, where's that EBO body? There's a connection to the past when you use the old school tools, and I'm gonna see if I can get it in here.
Maybe it's just easier to screw up.
There's a pin router. Can you see the pin router evidence here, Brian? Right here.
Yeah, man.
So what? Somebody went, whoop, shit! I went 16th too deep in that one corner, and that's definitely a pin router issue, and there's just some kind of it's like a connection for me to the way that the old school factories did it, and I really like that. And it's not that I don't like CNC or I don't think CNC is cool, because it is neat, but it's just not my thing. So yeah,
you like putting wood through the tool. That's your favorite part.
Yeah,
I like pudding.
I like pudding too.
Good.
If I could afford a Haas VF4 and had a floor that would handle the weight of a Haas VF4, and I knew how to do the CAD and the cam and the machine control, you're absolutely right. I'd have one. I mean, I did have a tabletop CNC, but the one I had wasn't quite accurate enough for what I was doing, and it also wasn't fast enough. I could make whatever the part was. I could make two to its one. That whole like John Henry thing.
Yeah.
I am not down on CNC at all, like at all. And then I feel like that CNC versus handmade thing kind of comes into that. It's similar to that, like lacquer versus modern finishing kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, the big thing I always hear with like the lacquer versus like lacquer. Lacquer makes your guitar breathe. The first thing I always tell everyone at the school is, okay, lacquer is a coating. If I hose you down from head to toe in nitrocellulose lacquer, your skin can't breathe. Therefore, you die. Also, therefore, nitrocellulose lacquer doesn't allow anything to breathe.
No. If you've ever seen a nitrocellulose pick guard, you know you can't breathe through it. So yeah. Hey Chris, why don't you and Brian talk about finish while I go pee? Because I gotta pee like a two-dick dog.
Let's talk about finish. Yeah. I think basically finish is the history of plastic, and nitrocellulose is just failing plastic from the minute you put it on until the minute it comes completely off the guitar. It's failing plastic.
Ooh, I have visual aids.
Oh, sweet. I have no visual aids. I hope to say
This is a Fender. It's a Fender Custom Shop Strat. And you see all of the ridiculous checking that's in here.
Yeah.
That's because this particular guitar was in the flood.
Oh, okay.
So you can the finish is really, really thin. It's an ash body. So it's done properly. It's a polyester sealer with probably acrylic color and nitro clear.
Yeah,
really, really thin. This guitar sounds fantastic still to this day. And then this is a 1975 Fender Telecaster that was finished solely in polyurethane.
So this one's polyurethane,
also in the
urethane, and it was also in the flood.
Also flood, and this is raw wood right here. And it's considerably thicker. And so finish. What most guys got to really realize is that it doesn't matter what's put on the guitar; it's how thick it was put on the guitar.
We always say too that the thickness of the finish is more of an indictment of the workforce rather than the product that's being applied.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have our buddy Mike Learn has it on good authority that they put the finish on as thick as they do because the thicker you put it on, the less chance of buff through in the final product you have.
Mike knows a thing or two about paint.
Yeah, he knows at least 2 things about paint.
That's exactly why that stuff is on there so thick.
Yeah,
it's because we want to stand through to the color or buff in that process.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Now they have a little more skilled people doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm still really good at buffing through. So
it's funny because we use polyester resin sealer and urethane paint, and we still get it on so thin that we manage to buff through. Yeah.
Yeah, in a lot of ways it acts a lot like lacquer when you start pinging it and dinging it and stuff like that. It's not that much different. So
and Ben, you're right, this did happen last night. I'm sorry, Brian, what was that?
We're using the same sealer that Simtech Easy Sanding Sealer, which is fantastic.
I have yet to. People ask me, "Hey, have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried that? Or what about this?" I don't know, and frankly, I don't see any real reason to switch.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't break it. That's for sure.
I mean, I've done the vinyl sanding sealer, which I don't mind so bad. I've done urethane sealer, which I don't like at all. It sinks a lot. It's very gummy.
Oh yeah.
Now that the Easy Sanding from Simtech, I love that stuff.
It's like Frank's hot sauce. On everything.
Have you ever experimented with the UV cure? We don't make enough guitars where it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I haven't.
The extra speed associated with UV cure.
But I don't have enough cash to be able to do that. Now, Doug is Doug Cower is a big.
Yeah, he's the man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with Doug, and Doug's like, "It's great, but you need the cabinet." Whereas, I'll talk to like John Sir. John Sir will go, "Don't do it. I did it. Didn't like it. I'm still refinishing guitars that had that stuff on it." It depends on who you talk to.
Well, I guess my thing is if you're making 10 guitars a day, sure, yeah, why not have that stuff? But if you're making 20 guitars a year, then do you really need it to be that fast? And that's kind of where we go back to that whole CNC deal. If you're making the same guitar over and over and over again, CNC makes a lot of sense. If every single guitar you make is different, then you have a major investment in extra ship.
Yeah, then you need a stack of MDF. And like a bunch
I know you have said stack of MDF because I know how mine is.
Yeah.
What other questions do we have, Miss Thing?
Nothing. Just a bunch of like follow-up comments. Nothing. Someone asked if that was my arm delivering beer. Yes, I am the beer wench.
Was that my arm? So Brian, you did a thing with your with Mrs. Nutter Guitars where you guys went on tour together. Is that right? Brian,
say that to me one more time.
You went on tour with Mrs. Nutter not that long ago. Is that right?
Yeah, 2015. My wife and I did a duo record. So we wrote and recorded everything. And we did house concerts all over the country.
So what's a house concert?
We play in people's living rooms.
Really?
Yeah.
I already know the answer, but yeah, it's a fascinating story, and I think everyone else would like to hear it too, because I think it's cool.
Yeah. So we went, we did 180 gigs. We lapped the country twice and played in people's living rooms. And sold, our T-shirts, and we sold photos and our CD, and all of that, and did like a full-on like personal hang and concert.
That to me makes so much sense, and you're the first person who's ever told me that was a thing. But it's I'm like, wait a minute, that's a no-brainer because it's an absolutely personal experience with the artist, and you probably made way more money and had a much better time than you would have playing sucky bars on Tuesday night.
Oh yeah. it was great. I mean, first of all, I got to go back to the hotel with the hottest girl in the room every evening. I don't say that because she's my wife. I say it because it's a scientific fact.
That's why.
That's right. We've seen pictures of your wife. Yeah, we.
I'm not bragging. I'm just bragging. But yeah, it was fun, man. And I left Keith's band in 2014, so I went from being on a 45-foot tour bus where we had 10 of those and 20 semi trucks, and it was one guy's, job on the tour to take care of my stuff. To she and I in like my creeper van, my tiny little like 2004 GMC Safari cargo van, driving around the country with all of our T-shirts and photos and CDs and our tiny little PA system and playing in people's living rooms.
It sounds like such a cool way to connect with the people who really count. And something that I'm a huge fan of is take the control away from people who don't care. You know what I mean? So there's no record people who are fucking it up for you.
People making money off your shit.
Sadly, we still had at that point we had a lot of people making money off of what we were doing, and because we were doing the house concert, thinking that not thinking but knowing at that point we were still signed to CAA, which is one of the largest booking agencies in the world. Even though they didn't book the house concert tour, we did. We were signed to that. We had an independent record deal, and we had management and business management and the whole bit. But there were mismanagement of funds and a whole darker thing which if 2 more cocktails and I get really loose tongued and really about. But yeah.
So here's a question that Chris has kind of regarding that. I already know the answer to this, but what do you, Brian, miss the most about your experiences in major touring?
Chris Hatton asked that same question.
Yeah, not me.
That's what I'm. No, yeah, not Chris.
Okay.
One more time. Again, yeah.
Nothing.
I knew I knew you were going to say that because I've seen you post. Yeah, the realities of the road and
Not one thing. I loved it. I mean, and I love all those guys, truly like brothers, and I talk to them all the time. But no, my little girl was born in, she's 2.5 now. So she was born in 2017, and my little boy is about to be 11 months old. And man, no, there's nothing that I miss about any of that.
Do you find that your experiences with building kind of keep you rooted to the whole musical thing, even though it's in a completely different arena? And I mean, okay, let me back up. So I have never excelled at playing. You have, but I have excelled more as a builder than I have as a player. You've done both. So is it the same kind of deal, or is it a different deal? What's that like?
No, man, because I am now after going through the machine of the whole playing deal, I am uber curmudgeon whenever it comes to music. I don't listen to music anymore.
I rarely do myself. Yeah,
I can't. It irritates me. I mean, it grates at me because I can, and unless it's stuff that means something to me, truly near and dear to my heart, or things I don't understand, like jazz. I'll listen to jazz because I've never really fully unlocked jazz. Texas swing, which is very similar to jazz. But to listen to the modern kind of thing, I would rather you beat me over the head with a bat than to have to listen to 10 minutes of modern video.
Have you ever said the words "get off my lawn" or "you smell like ointment and pee"?
I don't know. I mean, I know being out here where we are right now. I mean, we're not connected to anything. I mean, we're on 22 acres in the middle of nowhere. We got horses and trees and ponds and stuff around us, and I'm out there in my shop by myself, huffing lacquer and making sawdust, and it's awesome. I'm in town, a few days a week doing teaching stuff at the Guitarcraft Academy, but then at the same time, when I'm in town now, I'm huffing lacquer and I'm making sawdust. So that's all I care about anymore. Is like making the coolest thing that I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim from Heritage Guitars once told us that breathing in sawdust made him the man that he was.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
There's so many of these young guys who are like, "Where's your PPE? Where's your respirator? Where's your?" I'm like, "Hey, man, it's a video, dude. Get over that shit." Yeah. So someone wants to know what my band's name is, and the name of the band that I'm in, that I wear a bass in, is Hawk Attack, and you can find us on Facebook and I think Bandcamp.
I just posted the link to.
Oh, did you? Now, Brian, you might be interested to know it's springtime, so it's a ways off, but we have a Christmas album. And one of the songs on our Christmas album is me doing a rendition of Blowfly's The 12 Lays of Christmas, which is positively the naughtiest, nastiest Christmas carol ever recorded.
The name of that.
I knew you would like it. Yeah, so I'll make sure that you get a copy for your holiday season. Yeah.
The name of the Christmas album is Queen of the Monkey People.
Queen of the Monkey People is the name of the Christmas album. Yeah.
And I'll just head this off at the pass. The name of the band that I'm in is Thin Lizzy.
No, it's not. It's Thin Lizzy.
Boys Are Back in Town's a good song.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's so cool.
That's an H.
What do you got? You got humidity there or something?
Oh yeah. See, that's the problem with Tennessee is it's like so. Hold on, Brian's gonna rock out.
Weenie Roller. I wonder where
Tonight we're gonna get some jailbait. Somewhere town. Brian's gonna go on down to the high school.
He had his own words.
Did you have your own words? And then I fucked it up with the jailbait thing. Okay,
jail block.
And I'm all like, possibly in the town could the jailbreak be? Maybe at the fucking jail.
Maybe it's at the jail.
Yeah, Mrs. Texas has pointed out numerous times that where is the jailbreak gonna be besides at the jail? So yeah, I don't get it.
I don't want to say nothing about nothing, but I heard there's gonna be a jailbreak. Possibly at the jail.
It's not going to be one at the 7-Eleven, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be at the elementary school.
That's
tomorrow afternoon. No, you said tonight, man.
Yeah.
And then I pull your mask off, and it's
somewhere in the town.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Tony wants to know, Matt, is your Christmas album worse than Mojo Nixon's? Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. Because first of all, there's only 4 songs on our Christmas album, and it doesn't include Happy Birthday to You, You Woodworking Jew, which I thought that's on the Mojo Nixon Christmas one.
That's not an indictment of your
on my Christmas album, there's the 12 Lays of Christmas,
Big Titty
Christmas, Take Me to the Liquor Store for Christmas, and our version of the Kinks' Father Christmas. So yeah, four awesome holiday tunes that
4 classics. Guaranteed to lighten your holiday mood.
That's right. That's right. And they're suitable for the office, not.
And your small children.
Yes.
Also and your grandma.
Yeah. Except for number 1, 2, and 3.
Except for all 4 of those songs.
Yeah.
Now,
go ahead. No, I was just jaw-jacking.
A modern Christmas album that is Christmas album that is suitable for all audiences is Joel Patterson.
I know Joel Patterson. I know of Joel Patterson. I've heard
Chicago Patterson. Kind of like retro guy. Super cool. Like it's like if Les Paul did a Christmas record. It's really great.
Is it an instrumental like Les Paul might do?
All instrumental.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You guys. So Chris is in an all instrumental band. I'm sorry. One more time. What is that, Brian? Well, I'm sorry, I cut you off. What was that?
No, yeah, the Joel's thing is completely all instrumental, and it's fantastic.
That's cool. So Chris is in an instrumental band, and you guys used to do Sleigh Ride.
Yeah, we did the entire Low Straight Jackets Christmas album as ours. Yeah. Oh, it's a really great version. Yeah.
Did that have Big Titty Christmas on it?
Masks and everything.
But we called it Marshmallow World.
Okay, you didn't call it.
Yeah. And we also we didn't do we've done the mask thing once or twice, and it's way harder to play in a mask than you would think if you've never played in a mask.
I played with you. I was in the same band with Chris for a couple years, and I played in a mask and my underwear once on stage.
Yeah, but nobody else did.
That
was your own deal.
That was my own deal. Yep. Yep. Why is our Christmas album called Queen of the Monkey People?
Because you're a moron.
Okay, hold on. Do we have a Christmas theme fabric top guitar? No, but we have a barbecue theme fabric top guitar.
And matching bass.
Yeah, we do. These are really cool.
Here's another question that I don't know the answer to because I might have been drunk or I just forgot. And it's is that me on the boat on the Facebook page? What boat?
Boat.
Mrs. Texas Toast on the boat on the Facebook page. Let's go with yes. It is Mrs. Texas Toast.
I might have been drunk and forgot. It's not other.
So here's the barbecue daily driver.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now you guys said that's PPG production clear, right?
Yes.
It's Omni production clear, so I'm not sure what
Omni
the difference
270, is. Super fast drying. I ain't got time to wait for that shit clear.
Right on. I haven't used
that. You know too that this has the ultimate tone wood poplar for the body. Yeah.
Wood. That's oh my god! Don't even get me started. That's what like that corkscrew kind of thing.
Yeah.
The chick in the boat on the Facebook page is
so what do you
I think it's the chick that was on Three's Company. That was.
What are most of your guitars built from?
Alder.
Okay, and why is that?
Because I like the weight. I like the consistency, and most of the stuff that I do, it's not pretty. So most of the stuff that I do is opaque.
Right. Yeah. Do you have a good local source for most of your wood, or?
Yeah. There's a place here in Nashville called MIMS. The other reason is I don't have to grain fill it.
Yeah.
That's an additional like finishing step that I just can't stand.
Yeah.
Finding mahogany, like be it Honduran is out of the just out of the question as far as like cost now. But finding African that's like light enough because everyone goes, how heavy is the guitar? It's a guitar.
This guitar is actually really thin and really heavy.
Yeah, it's a board. I'm sorry your shoes are too tight. I can't handle that. So but no, I make alder guitars with maple necks and rosewood fretboards. But I have a new one coming out at Summer NAMM that's actually going to be all maple with a rosewood fretboard.
Very cool. Chris actually just procured some more for our secret stash of white limba.
Yeah,
and we've got a handful of white limba guitars that that are coming out.
So we have a local supplier that has approximately 50 board feet left.
Yeah, I think it's going down.
Yeah, and it's pretty rough.
You have to grain fill that. And I can't stand the smell of that stuff.
I don't notice it, but I guess our dust collection is pretty decent. So yeah, I don't know it.
Yeah,
it's not as bad as zebra wood, which smells like pee.
No, that was me.
Oh, that was Chris.
Sorry.
Okay. I don't use a lot of limba. I've done 2 or 3 guitars over the past year out of limba.
One of the things that I like to tell people who are just getting started building guitars is avoid this. This is a problem that I had. And if you don't want to make the same mistakes that I did, avoid hippie wood. So zebra wood, bacote, any of those things that look really super cool, no one cares, and they're a pain in the ass to work with.
Cocobolo, Jatoba, whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Buy something that grows locally and just do that. We're making a guitar.
Yeah.
And something that we think a lot about is the reason that Gibson used mahogany and Fender used alder and ash and maple was because that's what they could get, and that's what machined really well. It has absolutely nothing to do with the actual sound of the guitar. It's what they could get literal shit tons of.
Oh my God, thank you for saying that. That's the thing with like the whole Fender thing is like, well, Leo Fender used blah, 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 and he did blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, he did that because that's what was abundant and it was cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It's a resource.
Yeah.
That's why.
Have you seen the Beetle Kill Pine daily drivers?
We should totally pull that. We should totally talk all about it.
We're gonna talk shit about the Beetle Kill Pine.
Someone was asking about
daily driver.
Out, daily driver, and that was a long time ago, and I kind of forgot.
Okay.
It up.
There it is.
And this is locally sourced Beetle Kill Pine, which, depending on who you ask, is either super rare and super expensive, or we can't give this shit away.
We can't give this shit away.
And in this case, it was we can't give this shit away. This was literally the cheapest 8-quarter wood they had that day. Yeah,
that's right. It still is too. It's actually cheaper than poplar. Yeah,
it's like they'll call the moving companies. I'll pay you to take this out of.
It's cheaper than gluing drywall together in this thickness.
We're gonna burn this.
Yeah. If you don't buy it, we're just gonna stack it out back and let it rot.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat, and it's light, and it's got all sorts of flair and flavor. And this isn't even one of our like super cool looking bodies. But
Brian, we've got a decent Beetle Kill Pine body blank. I'll send you if you want it.
Okay. Well, the thing I'm going to do with it is I'm going to put I'm going to spray glitter all over it. So it's not going to matter what it really looks like.
You'll be like, I can't spray glitter all over this.
We're going to send you one with big giant knots in it, and
it's the coolest.
Yeah, but they're super hard and ambery. They're not sticky anymore.
Here, listen. It sounds already like a musical instrument.
Yeah, listen.
Oh yeah, you can tell. That's great.
There you go. Yeah, see, he can match the tone.
Yeah,
even. That's why he's professional.
Yeah, so I've got a body blank. I'll send it to you. I think I still have your address. I'll mail one to you, and you can do whatever you want with it. But I urge you not to paint over it because because the coolest finish for this is Simtech sealer, and that's it.
And that's it.
And that's it. Yeah, scuff it back, and you'll have a cool satin finish. Just like this and it'll be neat. Yeah.
Simtech and a little bit of amber.
Well, Happy Ad says you should
mixed in
over that driver.
And that's it. No.
You shouldn't get it. He didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
He doesn't. He hasn't. Happy Hands has not had the Kool-Aid.
Tell me the other neat thing about this guitar.
I don't know the neat thing. Oh, that's right. This guitar has our new infinity radius neck.
Do tell.
Infinity radius. So if you can imagine what you know what a 10-inch radius looks like.
Yeah.
And a 12-inch radius looks like. That's half of a 20-inch and 24-inch circle. And what's that, my dick? Oh, yeah. So this one is dead flat. There's no radius on it. It is, in fact, the infinity radius. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How much more radius could it have?
None
more radius.
And we give this guitar to people and have them play it and say,
no joke. Okay.
Can you know anything about this? And they're like, no, they don't notice.
Yeah, they're looking at the lower horn. They're going, well, is this deeper? No.
No one can tell.
No, it's nothing that dumb.
Yeah. It's just got a flat board. I spaced it out. Yeah. Absolutely flat fretboard. So yeah. And it has a Squire neck plate.
Okay.
It's the cheapest shit we could throw together on a guitar.
Yeah. It plays really, really well, and you can bend for days. I actually went over the top and just pushed down on the low E until the string broke, and it never fretted out. I went from like E, just and went never fretted out. Cool.
So if anyone's interested in the daily driver with Beetle Kill Pine and Infinity Radius, let me know.
Jackson did a handful of guitars for Rowan Robertson in the 80s when he was playing with Dio that had flat radiuses. like that classical guitar, flat. Just been. And I've always wanted to try that. I have a handful of like classical stuff, but haven't done the true flat radius. All these are 12.
Send Brian the fucking Infinity Radius.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, just send it to him and let him play it. So the whole idea, we did this whole big deep dive into radius and what's the real difference and can you really feel it? And I thought, I've never played a guitar. I played classical guitars, but I've never played an electric guitar with a super flat radius, like a 20 or something like that. I should make a guitar neck with a 20-inch radius. And then I thought, I should just make it flat.
That's the hell with that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just go all the way.
Yeah, if you want to see what a flat one's like, make a fucking flat
flat radius. And so we did. And it actually turned out pretty neat. It's pretty fun. So
all right. So can we send Brian the Infinity Radius Beetle Kill Pine guitar and one of the blanks to fiddle dick around with?
Sure. We can.
Oh, there's Bob talking about compound radii and he ducks. You know Bob Quigley?
Yeah.
Cool guy. Yeah.
That's fine.
So what's on the horizon for you besides entertaining us when we come out in the summer?
Well, I have the all maple guitar coming out.
Cool.
For Summer NAMM. There's also a 30-inch scale Astro bass that's going to happen.
6-string or 4-string?
No, 4.
4. Cool.
I've had a lot of short scale basses, and I still have my Dan Armstrong bass, which I love.
And I like short scale basses. They're super fun.
They can kind of sound plinky, but yeah, there's something cool about them. Yeah.
Totally. And it's gonna have it'll be actually more like the Commander. It'll have 2 mini humbuckers.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask, can you get a surf tone with that?
Hey, can you get a surf tone?
Yeah. Indeed.
Okay.
So Chris Hatton wants to know, does Brian make maple necks? I believe yes. That's pretty much where you live, right? Yeah.
I do. I don't for the maple fretboard. I don't do like high gloss in that, and that's truly like a personal preference of. I don't like scraping like lacquer off of frets whenever I shoot it.
Yeah.
So if I do a maple fretboard, I do an oil finish neck at that point.
I'm right in there with you because first of all, I think everything should be oil finished because it's so much easier to do, but. We've started to seal. We seal the fretboards. We radius the necks. We seal the fretboards. We press the frets in, and then we shape the necks, and then we seal the necks again, sands the fretboard, and then we do clear over the whole shooting match. And that actually works really well because there's very, very little paint that needs to get scraped off the frets that way.
We have a guest here. Come here.
A guest. Yeah, it's going to be a little person.
I bet it's a cat.
Hey. Who's this?
Her name's Eris, and it's night time. Give me a kiss. I love you.
It's night time. Good night, sweetheart.
Okay.
It sounds like you have to put little ones to bed.
Oh, my son's already down, and then she's going down right now.
So I don't know. I'm thinking Brian is a few years younger than you and I are.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be the old
much
guy.
Better preserved.
Yeah, or way better preserved.
No, I'm 46.
So yeah, you're a couple years younger than us. Yeah.
This is what you have to look forward to in the next 3 years.
Yeah. And it won't get this good again, baby.
I looked like you when I was 46. I looked like you when I was 47 too.
You look like Brian yesterday. Look at you now. Look at you.
That's right. Yeah, go back to yesterday and go, yeah, Chris he looked a lot better yesterday.
That's awesome.
Yeah. My hair, this isn't where my hairline ends. It's just all gray from there down.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to tell people that I played a young guy on TV, and that was it. That was
People always ask me, they're like, I thought you'd be taller, and I say I am.
Oh yeah, totally.
No one gets that. No one has ever said that, actually. Yeah.
I see. For me, though, because people will say that to me, I thought you'd be taller, and I would go, me too.
But here I am.
Yeah, because my mom smoked when I was in utero. So thanks, Mom. That's what I say.
Well, so
not for her, I'd be able to dunk. I'd probably be a millionaire by now.
You could palm a basketball.
Totally
you'd be
palm
Wilt
a
Chamberlain.
basketball. Yeah,
you'd be banging 10,000 chicks. Yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about those desert island records.
No, because I'd have a record player there.
Yeah,
on my own island.
So I think we should go ahead and wrap this up. Brian, can you hang out with us for just a few more seconds while we wrap it up?
Yeah.
So thanks for everybody for tuning in. We're an hour and 39 minutes in with Brian Nutter, and thanks so much to Brian and his family for letting us steal him away for an hour and a half. And thanks to everyone for watching. These are great videos for you guys to listen to on Monday morning when you really ought to be doing whatever it is that you do for a day job. So hopefully there's some good stuff, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in and comment in the comment section. I read all the comments, and gosh, but let's go ahead and wrap it up. We got Brian Nutter from Nutter Guitars. If you're following along on the let's see, I'll be on the right hand side of the screen. Terry has got links to Brian's web page and Facebook, etc. And looks like Mrs. Texas Toast and he are doing some of that stuff. So thanks again to Brian, and thanks everyone for watching. And if you need a cool guitar, life is short. You might as well have a cool guitar. Brian Nutter can help you out with that. And if Brian can't help you, we could do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than one guitar.
There's such a thing as having more than one.
I've seen people do.
So thanks again to everyone for watching. Brian, stay with us. We're gonna stop the broadcast and we'll catch up with you at the very end. So thanks again, everybody. We'll see y'all next Sunday. But I have no idea what we're gonna talk about. But we'll redo it. So
suggestions are welcome.
Suggestions talk about how welcome. Cool it was to hang out with Brian Nutter.
We probably will. Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Thanks for watching, everybody. And we are.